much, and good evening. I'm delighted to be here with you all, and I'm delighted to be back in Jerusalem. Prime Minister Aznar, President Klaus, President Kuchma, President Message, and President Ivanov, it's an honor to join you. I'm especially honored to be here at the invitation of President Shimon Peres, an inspiration and a hero to us all. On behalf of President Obama, I want to extend America's deepest thanks for everything you do to move Israel and the world toward lasting security and peace. Mayor Dizengoff, the founder of Tel Aviv, was once asked how it is one becomes mayor of a city in Israel. He replied, "First, you build the city." Well, the life of Shimon Peres suggests that one way to become president of the state of Israel is that first you build the state of Israel. Mr. President, you helped bring Israel into being. As Prime Minister, Finance Minister, Foreign Minister, Defense Minister, you helped Israel grow strong, thrive, defend herself, and move toward peace. You helped forge the enduring peace treaty with Jordan and helped make historic breakthroughs with the Palestinians that still point our way ahead. And as president, you're using an amazing life's wisdom to secure your country's future and raise our sights toward a day when all this region's children can live in the peace and security they so deserve. By my count, President Peres has worked closely with 10 American presidents, from Kennedy to Obama. So your life tracks the life of the very special relationship between our two countries. The United States and Israel share a deep and abiding friendship and an unbreakable bond, rooted in common interests and common values. We meet today at a moment of great global change, but we again affirm an essential truth that will never change. The United States of America remains fully and firmly committed to the peace and security of the State of Israel. That commitment spans generations and political parties. It is not negotiable, and it will never be negotiable. Some of you may know that last summer, I was privileged to join President Obama, then Senator Obama, on his second visit to Israel. I followed him as he studied each wall at Yad Vashem. I looked on from a distance as he slipped a personal prayer into the stones of the Western Wall, the Kotel. I witnessed the courage and endurance of the citizens of Sderot and touched the remnants of the countless Hamas rockets that are their ever-present terror. I've made several trips myself to Israel, but my most vivid memories are from my very first visit when I was just 14 years old, at a very different time in this nation's history. I came with my younger brother and my father, who was then on the board of directors of what was known as Trans World Airlines, TWA, as many of you will recall. The board members and their families, I included, had the extraordinary experience of being passengers on one of the very first flights from Tel Aviv to Cairo around the time of the Camp David Accords. On that same trip, I will never forget visiting the original Yad Vashem, floating in the Dead Sea, walking the old city, climbing at Masada, and my first experience of a kibbutz. I learned by heart the sacred prayer, the Shema, which speaks of God's oneness. And since that first wonderful visit, my admiration for Israel has grown ever stronger. I have another powerful memory from that same time. I was born and raised in Washington, D.C., where my mother's house is still across the street from the Egyptian embassy. So I recall seeing Anwar al-Sadat as he got out of his motorcade, triumphant, proud, and sure, having just signed the Camp David Accords. As a kid, I was more impressed by the heavily armed Secret Service agents who were standing on our roof. But as an adult, I am most impressed by the central lesson that Sadat's actions taught me, that human conflict and human problems can be ended by human courage. And that lesson, in a sense, is what has brought me back to Jerusalem today.